Hello and welcome to our series of tutorials on how to set up and use the scalable workflow execution engine Saasfee. In this tutorial, we would like to demonstrate how to set up your very own distributed Saasfee installation on Amazon EC2. So without further ado, let's start the browser and head over to the Saasfee website, which is located at saasfee.informatik.hu-berlin.de. Once on the page, we'll head over to the Getting Started section, where we will find some general information on how to install Saasfee. Saasfee comprises the functional workflow language Cuneiform, as well as the Highway workflow scheduler for Hadoop Yarn. Since Highway operates on top of Hadoop, a fresh Saasfee installation, as set up in this tutorial, will include a full installation of Apache Hadoop. Further at the bottom of the page, we will find a set of configuration files, the upper green ones for installing Saasfee on a local machine or a local cluster of machines, and the lower blue ones for installing Saasfee on Amazon EC2. In this demonstration, we're choosing to install the distributed lightweight base version of Saasfee. So let's click on the download link and get started. Note that there are other setup configurations available, for instance for installing Saasfee on a single node, or for including some advanced workflows in the installation process which you might want to play around with. Now that we have our configuration at the ready, we need some software to make sense of this configuration and actually perform this installation. This is where Caramel comes into play, which we can download from the Caramel website at caramel.io. On the Caramel website, we'll head over to the Getting Started section, where we follow the download links to the Caramel binaries. As you can see, the Caramel website provides extensive information on what Caramel is and how to use it. For this demo, it suffices to say that Caramel is an orchestration tool for setting up distributed architectures. Once the Caramel download is finished, we look into our Downloads folder, where we will find the configuration file as well as the Caramel binaries, which we'll now extract. We can run Caramel by launching the caramel.exe file. This will launch an instance of Caramel in our web browser. We continue by loading our configuration file, which we'll once again find in the Downloads folder. Once the configuration file is loaded, you will notice two groups of installation routines. The one on the left for the master node, which includes Hadoop's name node and Hadoop's resource manager, and the one on the right for the worker nodes, which includes Hadoop's data nodes and Hadoop's node managers. Depending on our preferences, we can increase and decrease the number of worker virtual machines to provision from Amazon, like so. For this demonstration, let's increase the number of worker machines to 12. We can then also custom tailor our Saasfee installation by clicking on the Configure button. For instance, we could change the version of Hadoop that we wish to install. We'll ignore the configuration settings for now and press the Launch button. Caramel installs Saasfee by logging into the target machines via SSH, downloading the required packages, and configuring the installation. Since we have no SSH key pair on this machine, we will have to generate a new SSH key pair like so. If you already have an SSH key pair on your machine, you would enter the path manually instead. We also have to provide Caramel with our Amazon Web Services access key. In this demonstration, this access key is already given. Once we've provided Caramel with all the required information, we can hit Submit. This brings us to a new window where, when clicking on the status link, we get more detailed information on the installation progress. Caramel will now install Hadoop, Highway and Cuneiform on the target machines. Let's wait for a little bit. After a couple of minutes, the installation is done. We can look up the IP addresses of the freshly provisioned virtual machines in the Caramel web interface. To check if Hadoop was installed correctly, let's access Hadoop's web interfaces on the master machine. To do so, let's first copy its IP address, as highlighted by Caramel. We can then access Hadoop's resource manager on port 8088 and Hadoop's name node on port 570. As you can see, everything installed perfectly. We can also SSH into the master machine from the Caramel web interface by clicking on the machine's public IP address. From there, let's change the current user to the user named Highway and enter that user's home directory. Then, let's run a simple Hello World workflow programmed in Cuneiform by entering cuneiform helloworld.cf. If the workflow is to be run on Hadoop instead, we would enter highway -w helloworld.cf. You can track workflow progress from the Yarn Resource Manager web interface. As you can see, the workflow was registered properly. After a couple of seconds, the workflow will have successfully terminated. If you wish to SSH in manually from a terminal, remember to use the private key generated by Caramel and enable X11 forwarding to harness all the workflow editing features of Saasfee. This brings us to the end of this demonstration. We've learned how straightforward it is to set up a distributed Saasfee installation, including the Cuneiform workflow language, the Highway scheduler, and Apache Hadoop on Amazon EC2. For further demonstrations on workflow design, editing, and execution, please check our webpage and our YouTube channel. Thanks for your attention and see you around.